more than we needed to.
But that said, I would think I have a great deal of respect for Lane Size, and I would believe that his voting record, the way he would vote in Congress would closely reflect my own. I think we share many of the same principles in limited government, on fiscal responsibility, and protecting the rights of the individual, and strengthening the free enterprise system. So, sure, there's probably some room for disagreement, but I don't know of any major issues that we have at this point.
Really? Lane, would you agree with that?
I think we do agree on many issues. I think there are a couple of places where I'm a little unsure of what Ryan's position is. I'll point to one is illegal immigration. I've been endorsed by Tom Tancredo, and I think I've been pretty consistent in the positions that I've advocated for some time now, which included, just to summarize, securing the border, which I think we need to do, workplace enforcement, which I think is very important, including the use of E-Verify, a tamper-proof social security card, and also a mandate and funding for ICE to work effectively with state and local governments, which in many respects they haven't, including in the city of Aurora, which I think faces some real challenges. Ryan there's a mail piece here from my opponent's campaign, which really summarizes those four issues actually quite well. But what's missing from this is what was present in some of his rhetoric a few months ago, and I've stood beside him on podiums as he said this, is the advocation of removing certain penalties on illegal immigrants, specifically the 3- and 10-year bans on folks who overstay. And I guess I'd like to ask him to explain why the change, why that particular advocating that a few months ago, and why does it not appear on this piece of literature.
Ryan, if you could tell us a little bit more about 3 and 10,
Yeah.
and where you do come down on.
Well, I think I would ask, Lane, next time we debate, to take a little more time to get his facts straight. I didn't advocate in any way amnesty. I oppose amnesty, and I do support securing our borders. I do support taking the extra step to remove the economic incentive to migrate to our country illegally by holding employers accountable. With respect to the 3- and 10-year bar, what I've simply suggested is that the 3- and 10-year bar, it's a lot of detail. I don't know how much time we have for detail today, but I will tell you the 3- and 10-year bar,
the Cliff's Notes version.
It says to someone who's here unlawfully that if you're here unlawfully working and you want to work here lawfully, if you've been here for 6 months to a year, you must first return home for 3 years before you can come back and work lawfully. But if you've been here for a year or more, you must go home for 10 years before you can come back and work
a year or more illegally
working, and you want to work lawfully, you must first go home. And I've talked with a great many immigration attorneys about this, and they've told me that is a huge de-incentive to getting folks who are here unlawfully today to return home knowing they can come back and work lawfully. We want solutions. You can sit here and oppose everything, or you can be about solutions. And what I've suggested is that if you get rid of the 3- and 10-year bar, you now provide a scenario where those who are here unlawfully know that if they have a willing employer, if they have a provisional work visa, they can come back and work in this country lawfully. But that's what we need to do to help us minimize the problem of illegal immigration.
Mike?
Well, to put it very simply, what I think I hear Councilman Fraser saying is that we ought to remove penalties on illegal immigrants. And if that is a policy that he is still proud of and still advocating, why doesn't it appear on the literature? Why isn't it a current part of his platform? In short, I think it's been a little bit of movement on that issue. And I would also ask him why. He's been a member of the Public Safety Committee for a number of years in the city of Aurora, and looking through the minutes of those meetings, there is no mention of Councilman Fraser having taken the lead or dealt with the issue of illegal immigration when he was in a position to, at the very least, use the bully pulpit to stand up and be in the forefront of that issue in a city that does face some really significant challenges. Eric.
Well, I just have to say real quickly, there was a claim there that I need to rebut just quickly, and that is having done nothing. Look, in the city of Aurora, we deal with a great many issues. Certainly, like any city, we're challenged with the problem of illegal immigration. But let me be clear, the city of Aurora, if you actually would take time to talk with our police chief, I'm sure you would find this out, Lane. The city of Aurora notifies ICE whenever we determine that someone that we've detained or arrested is here foreign born. The problem is that ICE doesn't come. In 2009 alone, we referred to ICE 37% of the time. We referred to ICE 100% of the time. They only responded to 37% of the time. So we're doing our job. ICE just doesn't have the resources, quite frankly, and we don't have an administration that is taking this illegal immigration problem serious enough.
I want each of you gentlemen to respond to the big question I think bedevils our country these days, which is just the political polarization, or the fact that the political system to so many people feels broken. We can go through election cycles where George W. Bush wins big, and a couple years later Barack Obama wins big, where Democrats are ascendant, or this year where Republicans may be ascendant. But over the long haul, there has to be, in my mind, some coming together and getting rid of this white noise machine that is politics. How do you do that as an individual U.S. congressperson? How do you do that? How do you bring people together at the same time, keep your political base on the conservative side happy with you?
Well, I think, one thing I'm very proud of is as a citizen legislator, I've had to work with folks who differ with me on a number of different issues. We've had some folks who are very liberal, some folks who are very conservative. I happen to be a fiscal conservative. And I will tell you that it's not always easy, but you can find a way to come together and answer the right answers and solutions to the challenges that you face in your local community. We've done it before, and we can do it in Congress. But I think as you do so, you have to maintain your principles. You have to maintain what it is that drove you to run for Congress in the first place. Otherwise, you lose the integrity factor with respect to those who believe in you and support you. And so you have to find that balance of preserving your principles, fiscal responsibility, protecting the rights of the individual, strengthening the free enterprise system, keeping government to the lowest practical level, while working to find solutions that challenge our country. Solutions like dealing with border security, enforcing our laws, holding employers accountable. We can do these things if we're willing to work together.
And that sounds great, and I trust that you believe that very strongly. But Lang, it's interesting. I'm sure that if you asked every member of Congress about how they can get